Do you ever find yourself getting burned out? Have you received a vision and it hasn't come around as quickly as you'd liked, and some challenges appeared, and then that fire of that vision, that visionary energy has burned out because you've got tired, you've got exhausted, you've put everything into it, and the vision hasn't appeared in the way that you imagined it would, or how quickly it would. So in this video, we're going to share about the signs of this burnout and how we can reignite our passion, how we can find that fire again, and like ideas and ways in which we can like look outside of the box and give ourselves new ways to look at it, to reignite that fire, that passion, that visionary. So if you're like a thought leader, a visionary, someone who has a vision for a better world, or a better life, or a better family, a better community, I'm sure like me, you get visions, you get ideas. And many times these ideas will come in a flash of inspiration, or maybe they'll come slowly, slowly, drip, drip over time. But usually what happens is there's quite a strong energy. There's a honeymoon period. There's an energy that it is quite strong at the beginning. There's a fire, there's an excitement, and you get this idea, and you get the pieces coming in, and you get excited about the potential, and you get the possibility. And then what comes is the reality of this life, the reality of bringing a vision to fruition. There are many steps, there are many challenges, there's many moving pieces, there's many things that are not in your direct control. There are many things that you can't envision through the process. You receive a big vision. You're a visionary, you're a thought leader, you're a starseed, you're a wayshower, you're someone who receives this vision of this better world, this better life, this better earth. But then the pieces and the steps between are, they may be included in that vision, but a lot of times they're not, because the architect, the skills of the architect or the visionary of a building would be lost if the visionary or the architect needed to know the skills of the electricians, of the carpenters, of the engineers. It's good to have a wisdom and a knowledge of that, but those specialized pieces need to come from specialized beings. And so a lot of times, one of the first points that we can look at is burnout from not delegating and not staying in your mastery, not staying in your genius, not giving the part of the vision, the process over to someone who that is part of their vision and their process. And then you get burned out because you get stuck in the weeds, you get stuck in the how. So the vision comes from a why, the vision comes from a big, grand purpose. The how comes from the pieces and the people and the process that brings that big vision into fruition. And as visionaries, if we go from visionary to the one that's stuck in the weeds, that's stuck in the process and trying to make the how work, burnout will come very quickly. And that burnout will come through frustration, it'll come through a lowering of the energy. And so how can we see that that's where we are? So it depends who you are. Do you see yourself as a visionary? And if you've clicked on this video, there's a very good idea and a very good possibility that you see yourself as a visionary. But do you also see yourself as a jack of all trades? Do you also see yourself as a Renaissance man or woman who believes that they can do everything? Just because you can do everything doesn't mean that you, quote, should. Doesn't mean just because you have a proficiency in a lot of things in this Renaissance energy, doesn't mean that it serves the bigger vision. If you've got your hands in every pie and you're like focusing, and 1 minute you're a visionary, the next minute you're in the how-to, your next minute you're in the building phase. So again, it's this, if you want to stay in the visionary and stay out of the burnout, you have to allow delegation, you have to allow the how to come through beings, processes, systems that are designed for that, and you stay in the vision. Again, it's not about stepping away and not knowing what is the process. It's about managing your energy and managing your gifts and being in your genius, and allowing others and now technology and people and processes that can be in their genius, and allow that genius to avoid burnout for you as the visionary, and allow the process to become um, more synchronous, more organized, and more in alignment with this broader vision, so that there is a team. The how will come together through a team and processes and people. And so when we see this burnout where we've spread ourselves too thin, we're burning the candle at both ends, we're trying to be everyone to everybody, and we're trying to have too much control or influence on the process. If we are the visionary, we hold the vision and we build a team and processes and people around us that can bring that vision into process and into fruition. And so for me, individually, I can share that many times this has led to burnout in this one. For me, that burnout has come because of an inability to let go and an idea that I've got the vision and I know how it is, and probably a piece where I don't know how to communicate it well to someone else, so I'll just do it myself. Probably an idea that no one can do it better than me. I've received this vision. And that's an arrogance, and it's a limitation and a weakness. A true leader and a true visionary is the one that can communicate that vision and share it with others in a way that comes. So a really good example of this, of a grand vision, is Gandhi. I always love to go to him. Like, he communicated a grand vision to people, and those people literally laid down their lives in the face of violence, in the face of um, unimaginable things, because he communicated and inspired and brought a vision to a people. They were willing to lay down their lives for that vision, for that process. And if they hadn't have done what they did, his vision would have been meaningless, and that overcoming of the most powerful um, empire at that time by farm people, by people using non-violence. So he communicated that vision, he inspired that vision in the hearts of those beings, so that they were willing to lay their life down for that. And I'm sure there were many times where Gandhi got to the point of burnout. He was a lawyer. He was creating this grand vision. He was envisioning this independent India, and of course the vision and all of the things that happened. He was arrested and many things. I'm sure there were many times that he felt this age of burnout. But he had that team and like a nation and a people willing to lay down their lives for that vision. So that's an extreme example and an inspiring example. So where have you received a vision and you've just kept a hold on too tight to it, like I have in the past? And this video is part of the process of letting it go and opening up to the hows, the processes, the technology, the people that can bring a grand vision into fruition. So the first one, we can say we can feel this burnout because we're taking on too many tasks. We're not delegating. We're not allowing the genius of others and the processes and people and technologies that are available now to bring our vision into fruition, by allowing it to be a team effort, and we're not trying to micromanage. So the second way that we could see that we've hit burnout in this way is we get stuck in logistic. We get stuck in the mind. This is, they say, the longest journey for any being in this life is the journey from here to here. So this is like going from thought leadership to heart leadership. It's going from the mind to the soul, to the heart of being. And when we get stuck in detail, and when we get stuck, we get burned out in analysis paralysis, where all of the pieces and all of the things, and we get stuck in the details rather than the bigger picture. We get stuck in the day to day rather than allowing the bigger picture to let that energy inspire the day, to move the day. And there'll be ups and downs, and there'll be challenges you're going through, and there'll be moments of great growth, and there'll be moments of planting seeds. But if we get stuck in the detail and we too focus on what is happening now, the distance between what is happening today and the vision becomes too grand, and that leads to burnout. It leads to an idea like, this vision is too far, it's too much, I can't get there, I can't see how this is. And we're looking at the day-to-day details, and they're becoming, they get magnified in importance, and the focus is like a zoomed in focus, and we lose the bigger picture, and we lose that fire, that energy, that vision inspired in the first place. So whenever you focus on like these day-to-day details, the small details, getting stuck in the weeds, as we said before, this will lead to burnout, because it makes such a gap between the big vision, the fire, the passion that has come, and this just getting through these things that are appearing today, which is on step for that. And so an amazing way of um, overcoming that burnout, stuck in the weeds, stuck in the process, stuck in the what's happening today as opposed to the bigger vision. This was inspired by an amazing book and program that I came across, and it's called The One Thing, and it was by Jay Papasan and Gary Keller. And it's an amazing book if you haven't read it, and they have a program as well. And so what they invite you to do is to always begin with your bigger vision, far out in advance, and then take that back into like 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, 6 months, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, and you bring it back to one thing. And you only focus on that one thing, but that one thing leads to the next bigger thing, and the next bigger thing, and the next bigger thing, and the next bigger thing. If you're trying to, Rome wasn't built in a day. If you're trying to like match again from that one thing, which is the most important thing, and it's the only thing that you focus on, and you only do that this day, and you don't do anything else until that is done, that leads to another thing and another thing and another thing, and it grows and grows, and it goes to the bigger vision, and goes to that. But to step from that one thing to the bigger thing is where the burnout occurs. But if all my focus is on not the 20 things that I need to do to create this big vision, it's the one thing that I can do now, today, that leads to the one thing that happens this week, and the one thing that happens this month, and the one thing that happens this in these 6 months, and this 5 years, and this 10 years, this grand vision for my life, my world, my business, my relationships, whatever it is, your vision. It takes out that stress, it takes out that anxiety, it takes out the detail orientated and trying to make things match from a microcosm to or from a macrocosm down to a microcosm up to a microcosm. The distance seems so far, whereas this one thing leads to another one thing, and they talk about this process like dominoes. And they give an amazing example in that book about how small a domino you need. If you start with a very small domino, and the dominoes get slightly bigger and slightly bigger, and that so that smaller domino is able to knock over this bigger domino, but they get progressively larger, and that one small domino in a very short time makes a huge impact. So that's an amazing thing. So the second one, so we talked about, you know, being too in control, being too like a Renaissance man or Renaissance woman. Just because you can do everything doesn't mean that you should, or that it serves the higher purpose. And the second part is getting caught up in the details. We get burned out because we get caught up in the details. We get caught up in the many things that seem important that day, and we end up just getting overwhelmed. We get our body, our being, our mind gets lost in busyness. So that's the second thing. And so the third way that we can see that we burn out is that we get disconnected from the passion, from the love, from the fire. We could say that that sparked it in the first place. So these other two can lead to this. When we get the grand vision, there's the love, there's the excitement, there's the joy, there's that fire, there's that passion. And then when it comes to the details, we're getting more into the way, the how that it'll happen. So whenever we get stuck in the process, whenever we get in the day to day of even if we stay with those one things, if we stay with this one thing, and we don't continuously connect with the emotion, the feeling, the passion, the fire that sparked it in the first place, we will begin to burn out, because that, for our soul, for our spirit, the fire, the passion comes from that feeling, that emotion, that it's not about the things, and it's not even necessarily about the details of the big vision. It's the energy that underlies it. It's the why. It's like the kind of intangible thing that's the fire, it's the passion. And that can lead to burnout when we get lost in the hows, the whats, the wheres rather than the whys. We get lost in the technical details of the vision, and we're not feeling feeling the excitement, feeling the passion, feeling the impact that we can have on others in the world, or a relationship, or work, or money, or whatever it happens to be, whatever we're passionate about, whatever where our vision came from. If we're not connected with the heart, we're not connected with the feeling regularly. Again, there's many times, and there will be continuous times when we are to use our mind and use technology and use our team to create tangible actions and create um, systems, processes, and things that will lead to the fruition of this vision. But if we are not continuously and able to, through mindfulness processes, through meditation, through connection with the heart, to the feeling, to the underlying, to the intangible, we will again burn out, because it's the fuel, it's the fire, it's the soul, for the spirit, for the bigger vision that keeps us going whenever we have to do the maybe sometimes monotonous tasks, maybe when we have to do the things, when we meet the challenges, or when things don't work out. It's that fire, it's that passion, it's that heart connection. It's that moving from there to there that will fuel us through the challenging times, that will feed us when we feel empty, that will keep us connected with the heart of the vision. And it will bring us through in a way that we will not need. Sometimes we won't need to eat, we won't need to sleep. Yeah, I'm sure you'll find, if you're like me, whenever these visions come, I feel like I don't I feel like I don't need sleep. I feel like I don't need to eat. I feel like I could move mountains. And then it's when we hop off those things, and it's when we disconnect from the vision, disconnect from the feeling, disconnect from our heart, disconnect from the source of the vision in the first place. We allow the weeds, we allow the details, we allow our sometimes arrogance or unwillingness to share and to delegate and to create a team. We allow the details to be the devil. We allow that devil that overcomes us and steals our passion, steals our fire, and removes us from, the true heart of who we are. So this is a little video about some of my experiences in burnout as a visionary. I'd love to hear for you. Have you had any of the experiences? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling exhausted? Are you feeling burnout? Can you identify with any of those three things that we talked about, those three ways? They're all interrelated, but each of them have a different way in manifesting, and each of them have a clever way of making themselves seem important, making yourself busy, making yourself, you must do this, this, and this before this can happen. The idea is that, maybe we need to look at how we can communicate our vision better, and we need to look at how can we use people, processes, technologies that can bring this vision in. Because if it's a big vision and if it scares you and you don't know how to get there, that means it's a God idea, not a good idea. When we get into the good ideas, that's when it's the small ones. It's not scary. It's just a process. It's just a thing you have to do, and it follows logical ways. And being a God idea doesn't follow logic, but will use logical ways to finish it. But if we are stuck on only logic and stuck on only how this can happen in a linear logical fashion, we're out of the magic, we're out of the passion, we're out of the fire, and we burn out. So I'd love to hear from you if you do feel that, if you feel tired, you feel exhausted, you feel like you're excited by a vision and then the vision drops away because you get stuck in the weeds, because you get stuck in the process, because you can't remember how it's supposed to all come to, and it seems too far to there, and then you give up, or you lose steam, or you set it aside, and then other more important things come in, and you get stuck scrolling YouTube, and you get stuck um, in the detail of some process of your vision or your work, and it's a small detail, and you make mountains out of molehills instead of being with the fire, being with the passion, connecting with the heart, being mindful, being heart filled, and leading from your heart and letting that lead you in sometimes not obviously logical ways to the right people, places, conditions, so that this vision can come into being. And so another way in which if we are finding ourselves in those burnout phases, is some things that might sometimes seem counterintuitive, but they really work. And first one is connecting with kind of childlike play, and the second thing is taking yourself completely out of your normal environment. Let's say your vision is in a certain field, looking to other fields, looking to something that seems completely unrelated that can actually spark creativity, that can spark ideas, can take you out of what you thought was possible and bring you into here where everything already is done and it's already possible. And that's why the vision came from in the first place. So getting into play, this can be physical, tangible movement, play, getting up from your computer, going away from the idea, the blueprint, the vision, or the team, taking yourself out of your natural environment, challenging yourself by meeting new people, by going into environments and maybe um, people, places, and things that seem like irrelevant to your vision, your passion, your purpose, but they can spark ideas that you would never get otherwise. So being in childlike wonder, being in play, taking yourself out of your natural environment, challenging yourself by moving into places that seem not related to your gifts and your purpose, your passion, your vision. And the next thing is related as well, but interacting with people, beings, ideas, philosophies, visions that may be counter to your own. Spending time with people that actually maybe disagree with your vision, spending time with people that see the world differently to you and may have an opposing vision. This can be very helpful of giving you a broader perspective, not from taking you out of your vision, but giving you a broader perspective of what's possible when you look at it from a multidimensional aspect. So you may have a vision, you may have a purpose, a passion, a mission that is calling you, and you've got burnt out, and all you've surrounded yourself is this echo chamber of beings that loosely agree with the way that you see the world, how things work, and this grander vision. What about if you spend some time challenging yourself with people who hold completely opposing, or if not completely opposing, differing or diverging ideas and different visions? This can allow you to see in a more multidimensional way, can see a bigger picture, and can allow you to step out of the burnout of being in the echo chamber of only this one way, even if you think that it's grand, even if you think it's the greatest, even if you think it's the way. Stepping outside of that and seeing from an opposing or a diverging idea can give new, fresh energy, and debate and challenge and people um, doubting you or people challenging your ideas can bring fresh energy, can bring that fire, that passion back again into, into the soul and the spirit of the vision in the first place. So whether that vision is for yourself, that vision is for your family, that vision is for your work in the world, or that vision is for the world, it matters not the size of the vision. We can get burned out on any of those levels, our personal relationships, our work in the world, our vision for the future. We can get burned out on those in so many ways, but we can always find our way back to the passion, the purpose, the excitement by being childlike, being playful, stepping out of our environment, giving ourselves break, giving ourselves space, holidays, moving away from holy days, moving away from the fixed thing for short periods and regularly, and stepping outside of our echo chamber, stepping outside of our bubble, stepping outside of people who agree with us all of the time, the yes men and yes women, and being in a space where we may be challenged, where we may be um, invited to see things in a different way. All of these are ways in which you can step out of the burnout of being a visionary and that vision and that honeymoon period and that fire and that passion, um, inevitably, lessons. Inevitably, it gets smaller. Inevitably, it's met with challenge. These are ways in which we can firstly identify that we are in that burnout, and then stay the course by bringing ourselves back into passion, back into the vision, back into our purpose, back into our excitement, back into our child, back into the place where the vision was birthed in the first place. So I'd love to hear from you if you are feeling maybe this burnout, maybe you're feeling tired, maybe you're feeling visions, ideas that you have received have not come to fruition because you've just got stuck in this burnout phase. You got stuck and forgot your heart, and stuck and forgot the reason why this vision was given to you in the first place. And we've given you some ways in which you can find yourself back in that passion, back in that vision, so that you can become this vision. Because as we share many times before, we can get a message, but we're here to become the message. We can receive a vision, but we're here to be the visionary. And that takes time in this dimension. It takes people, and it takes a team, and it takes now technology, be that spiritual technology, physical technology, or whatever it happens to be. It takes a whole team and energy to bring a vision, because no vision that is a God idea will just involve you. If it's a God idea, if it's a good idea, it can just involve you. And we can tinker about with it for all our lives, and we'll just get a good idea. A God idea will force you and challenge you to step outside your boundaries, to face your fears, to bring together and communicate your vision and your ideas to others, to support and create communities. That's a God idea. A good idea will keep you in your comfort zone. A good idea will be stuck in the detail. A good idea will not challenge you or take you beyond what you believed is possible, or what you believed is possible for the world or your relationships or your work. So this is a little sharing on the burnout for visionaries and some ways in which we can deal with this. I'd love to hear from you how you are experiencing this, and anything that you would like us to cover as we move forward on this journey. We're going to be creating more content like this, and we'd love to hear from you what you would like to hear about. Put in the comments, let us know. Are you experiencing burnout, exhaustion? Do you find you have ideas and then eventually it burns out, it fizzles out because of many of the reasons that we talked about, and maybe some that we haven't? Let us know in the comments. So thank you for joining this little sharing, and we will continue this journey. And until next time, from my heart to yours, the divine in me sees, loves, and honors the divine in you. Namaste. We are